Okay, I want to show a couple things about the sound glove, common things that have broken over the past 100 of them that I've sold, and some of the easy fixes. So the first thing I want to show is some parts of the board. Um, a lot of these problems I fix before I send them now, but some of the older gloves I wasn't aware of the problems, and so I didn't fix it. So I've probably had about 3 to 5 different gloves lose parts of the soundboard, and the two parts that they lose are the 3.5 millimeter audio jack and then the USB, the micro USB port for uploading audio. So all I do is I take my hot glue gun and I add a little hot glue on the side and back of the USB, and then on the sides of the audio cable, the audio input. And that solves both of those problems. Ever since I've been doing that, I haven't had any issues at all. Now, probably the most common problem that I see is wires falling out, and then most of the time when they fall out, the exposed wire is still stuck inside the board. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take a Phillips screwdriver, and you can loosen these screws, and then you'll just want to tap it and get that piece of metal out. And then if you still have the exposed wire, then you could just put it in and go ahead and tighten it right then, and it should work just fine. If the wires have broken and there's no more exposed wire, then you'll need to strip them. So I've got some wire strippers right here. I can put a link to it in the description so you can see exactly which pair I use. These ones are really nice because they usually do a really good job. So I just put it in. So now both these wires are stripped. And then what I will do is just twist it a little bit. Pull out my helping hands. And then you want to tin the wires, and that will help it so it'll have a better connection, but also stay in there and be a little bit more sturdy. So I've already heated up my soldering iron. Heat up the wire, a little bit of solder. And there we go. So now these are ready to get put in. I think I stripped it a little bit too much. What you'll want is, I've found if you strip it too much and you have too much exposed wire, then it can snap a little bit easier. So what you want is about like that. And that's about, I don't know, millimeter, 2 millimeters, something like that. So then what you'll do is you'll unscrew and you'll feed the wires in just like that. And before you screw it down, you'll want to place the wire right in the middle. So right like that second one right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, they're both screwed in nice and tight. I can give a little tug on them and feel that they're taut. It doesn't matter which wire goes in which of the blocks. You'll notice on the back it's labeled. So the first two blocks are key 1 or button number 1, 2, 3, 4. So as long as the two parts of the button go in those two parts of the block, then it's perfectly fine. Probably the last thing is I've started to now add a little bit of hot glue in there, because even where it's, there we go, even where it's soldered, it's tinned correctly and put into the block and tight. What I've seen is as people move it around while they're like trooping and such, get it to focus, there we go, as people are moving it around while they're trooping, then right here, this part of the wire moves around so much that it has been snapping right there. And I've seen that as I've had gloves out in the wild for longer, I guess. And this same thing applies to the power cable. So if you have the power cable, one of the wires pop out or something like that, you can do all the same steps, tinning the wire, putting it back in, screwing it down. You can even add some glue. I haven't had any problems with really these falling out, but you could easily add glue there just to be sure. It's a little bit of hot glue. That's most all the problems I've ever seen with the gloves. It's a really hardy board and a really strong setup, so there's very few problems, but what I found really is that a little bit of hot glue goes a long way in solving and protecting your glove. If you have any questions about specific problems, or if you can't make the repair yourself, just let me know. For example, if you break off a wire and you don't have the skills or tools to tin the wires and get it all ready, just let me know, and I can just mail you one wire that's all tinned and ready to go, and then you can slot it in your own board and then put a little bit of hot glue on it. Or if you have one of these pieces pop off, you can send the whole glove back to me and I'll replace the board for you. So yeah, just let me know if you have any questions or need any follow-up information. Like I said, it's a really hardy board, and I haven't really had too many problems with it at all. So hopefully this helps you guys.